Chapter 1: The Boy Under the Bridge. The rain had stopped hours ago, but the concrete still clung to its memory. Dark patches bloomed like bruises along the stone supports, the air damp with the smell of river water and earth. Beneath the bridge, where sunlight never lingered and shadows seemed permanent, a boy sat cross-legged on a flattened sheet of cardboard. His hood was drawn low, its fabric frayed at the edges from too many nights weathering cold winds. Beside him, a rat nosed its way into a torn paper bag, whiskers twitching as it discovered a crumb hardened by time. "Dinner's served, little king," the boy murmured. His voice carried the faintest trace of amusement, the kind that came from telling jokes to no one but yourself. The rat squeaked in triumph and dragged its prize into the safety of the cardboard. The boy leaned back against the chilled stone, stretching until his spine cracked, and for a fleeting moment, he pretended the hollow under the bridge was a throne room. He and his rat, king and subject, ruling over a forgotten kingdom of dripping concrete and broken glass. Above them, cars hummed by in steady intervals, headlights carving pale slashes across the cracks in the bridge. Voices sometimes floated down from passing pedestrians, laughter muffled by distance and indifference, but no one ever ventured close. And when they did, they never stayed. The boy had seen it happen often enough. A stranger's steps slowing, their shoulders stiffening, their breath catching as if they had walked into something unseen. A chill, a wrongness would ripple through their bones, and within seconds they were gone, hurrying away, clutching their coats tighter, unsure why they felt as though eyes had followed them from the dark. He knew why. It was him, the aura. The dread clung to his skin like damp fog. He hadn't asked for it, but it was there all the same. Everyone in this world carried a power, a blessing they called it, proof that humanity had been chosen by the light. Children were born with gifts that marked them special, each one unique. Whole towns lit fireworks when a blonde-haired child entered the world. Gold hair meant strength, meant promise, meant brilliance waiting to unfold. But the boy's hair was black, black with a faint blue sheen, as though night itself had dyed it. His eyes, when uncovered, were darker still, too deep to read. And when his registry day had come, when officials placed their glowing seals to summon his blessing, the records had stuttered. Not a name, not even a category, just 7 crooked question marks. The hall had gone silent. He still remembered the way the clerk's expression shifted, not pity, but something colder, sharper. His parents hadn't stayed long after that. 7 marks, 7 question-shaped scars where a gift should have been, the first and only time it had ever been recorded. Others with weak blessings carried 1, maybe 2. He had 7, an error, an omen. He tugged his hood lower, as if cloth could hide that truth. The rat scurried up his arm and curled into the pouch of his hoodie, claws pricking gently through the fabric. He stroked its head with a finger, grateful for the warmth, grateful for the tiny heartbeat that never recoiled from him. The little creature never felt the dread others did. That was enough. "Guess it's just you and me tonight," he said softly. The city above carried on without him, golden lit and distant. He wondered sometimes what it would feel like to walk openly among them, to laugh with classmates instead of sitting silent in the far corner, invisible but for the shifting discomfort he left in his wake. Would anyone hesitate if he vanished tomorrow? Would the teacher stumble over his empty seat? Would anyone whisper his name? The rat gave a squeak, almost answering. He let out a dry laugh. Yeah, figured, nobody. The sound died quickly. The voices stirred then. They crept in like fog under a door, quiet at first, then sharper, layering over one another until they pressed against his skull. "You're nothing. An error, a hollow thing. Why keep pretending?" His jaw tightened. He pressed his palm to his temple, fingers digging into the hood's fabric. He had learned not to answer them aloud. People stared when he did, and stares were worse than silence. The voices shifted, some mocking, some coaxing, some whispering like old friends. "You'll never belong. They see you for what you are. Alone, always." The rat stirred, pressing its tiny body against his chest. He let his breath slow, centering himself on that fragile weight. The voices dulled, not gone, never gone, but softened, as if waiting for a moment when his guard would slip. He leaned his head back against the stone pillar, eyes half-lidded. Moonlight spilled through the cracks in the bridge above, skimming the surface of the river. The reflection fractured into ripples, scattering shapes of light and shadow across the water. And then he saw it. A vase. his face, but not. The reflection smiled when he did not. Its eyes gleamed bone-white, and shadows curled around it like hungry smoke. His breath caught, he blinked, and the reflection was gone. Only the rippling water remained. He exhaled slowly, clutching the rat closer. Sleep would come soon, though he dreaded it more than the waking hours, because in dreams the voices weren't whispers, they were armies. And in those dreams he saw the wars of light and darkness, fields of fire and shadow clawing at each other across the sky. Sometimes he stumbled through them alone, unarmed, unseen. Sometimes he wandered endless hallways lined with doors, each one opening to deeper blackness, each one filled with the same echoing laughter. The boy pulled his knees to his chest and wrapped both arms around his rat, holding on to the one steady thing in a world that recoiled from him. Maybe tomorrow someone would see him. Maybe tomorrow he wouldn't be invisible. But tonight the darkness folded around him like a second skin, humming with the river's quiet song while the golden city above carried on, blind to the boy who ruled the shadows beneath its bridge.